Hey guys, welcome back here to Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel today. And guys, a lot of you all that follow the channel, you've heard me talking about the plights and challenges and problems that Table Rock Lake has had with overdevelopment and pollution over the last few years. Well, I got something else to report to you. Yesterday, the Army Corps of Engineers on Table Rock Lake just closed down one of the major swim beaches on Table Rock because of an E. coli bacteria outbreak. And I want to get into this particular, topic in this video and rip some people a new one that need to be ripped on this thing. And definitely looking forward to getting your guys' feedback and comments on it as well here. Also, before we get started, guys, thank you very much for everybody that has continued to support Intuitive Angling here. Man, everybody that's subscribed to the channel, joined up as a channel member, using all the links I put in the description. I just want you guys to know, from me and my family, we really appreciate the support on the channel like that, for you guys doing that. Okay, a lot of you guys that watch the channel, I've talked about this a lot. I've been fishing Table Rock. My mom and dad started taking me down there when I was a little kid in the late 60s. And I have fished the lake consistently since the late 60s. I fished a bunch in the 70s, 80s, 90s, all through the 2000s. I've seen the evolution of Table Rock Lake over the years, which is not good whatsoever. And that's one of the things I want to get into this. And this E. coli outbreak is just one of the latest things that have come along. But anyway, what you've had on Table Rock Lake is there has been a tremendous degradation of the lake on so many different levels. The fishing sucks now compared to what it used to. There's this illusion that the fishing's better than what it is because of all the electronic technology. It sucks compared to what it used to be. There's not near the big fish in it. The lake used to be full of 7 and 8 pounders. Now a 5 pounder turns heads at a tournament weigh-in. The water quality of the lake has diminished unbelievably. Probably in the 1970s, the lake was twice as clear as it is right now, and now you've got a lot more turbidity in the lake, and that is due to all this development. And what you've had on the lake is you've got a bunch of these freaking greedy developers on Table Rock Lake that are in bed with all the county commissioners and zoning and planning commission people. They've all got money, they've all got lawyers, they've all got lobbyists. They ignore public opposition like any other place around the country, and they just do what they want to. So they get these permits issued, and they go down there and they rip the hilltops off of all the hilltops in Table Rock, put in these multi-million-dollar weekend mansions for people that don't even live in the state, that come here once every 2 or 3 times a year. Condos everywhere. You got condo boat docks popping up in the lake, and as a result, you have problems like this E. coli outbreak, which is most of the time associated with some type of the sewage overflow, which completely makes sense. And there's going to be anytime something like this comes up, people are going to say, oh, Randy, it's probably just goose poop or something. Bullshit, guys. I have fished Table Rock Lake for 60 years almost, and I have never seen this particular situation back in the 70s and 80s when the lake was really in a pristine state. So let me tell you the problem here, and for all you politically sensitive types, I don't want you to get, bent out of shape on this. I'm just going to tell you the reality of the situation from a factual standpoint. The current administration that we have right now has basically dismantled and weakened over 100 of our environmental protection and regulations, over the past couple of years, including like they've weakened the clean air and clean water standards. They've weakened there's a thing called the endangerment findings, which basically it's a watchdog group that calls out, environmental problems around the country. They've dismantled that and got rid of it. They weakened the EPA. They've weakened and reduced all the greenhouse gas emission standards on power plants and cars. Basically what they've done is they've given the green light to companies to pollute at will, and they will not be penalized for it. Because all it is they're deregulating the industry to pollute at will, because they save more money and they can make bigger profits that you and I will never see. All it is putting money in the pockets of those CEOs and some of the top, management people in those companies. That's it. Nobody else benefits from it, and everybody suffers from it with all the environmental problems that we have as a result of that. And this is just one manifestation of it, guys. It's going on everywhere. It's going on in your lake across the country. It's going on in your cities, in your town, everything like that. And guys, I can tell you right now, we have got to put a stop to this, because human beings are the only species stupid enough on this entire planet to basically crap in our own, water bowl. And that's what we're doing. What you tell me the logic tell me the logic surrounding why somebody should be allowed to pollute our air and our water, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, everything that sustains ourselves. They should allow people to pollute that simply to make higher profit margins. If that's not insanity, and if that's not ignorance and greed and darkness and evil, I don't know what is. I mean, if we do not change our paradigm shift right now on the people that are in positions of power that set these environmental regulatory standards, this generation is going to be looked upon as the biggest villains in the history of this planet for what we're doing to our planet. And this E. coli outbreak at Table Rock Lake is just one example of that. It's a sort of like a minor glitch in the bigger picture of the thing, because everything contributes to it. And the only thing that we have as a power tool, from the people is our voice. You have the ability to vote people out that pollute our planet. And so you can look at the voting records, guys. I don't care. And like I said, I don't care how you vote. I don't care if you're whatever. It doesn't make any difference to me. I could care less. The only thing I care about is when I look at their voting record on environmental issues, and if they're going to allow companies to pollute at will and pollute Table Rock Lake and pollute Lake Gunnersville and pollute Lake Eufaula in Alabama and pollute Lake Okeechobee, which they're doing like crazy down there, if they deregulate and if they vote and if they pass legislation or block legislation, if they pass legislation to allow polluters to pollute more at will, and if they block legislation to put environmental safeguards in place, their asses need to be voted out of there. It's not worth it. It is not worth us losing our air and water quality and our health, our own physical well-being, and the health of human beings and the health of other creatures on this planet, so some company can get a bigger profit margin, bigger quarterly profit, or a bigger tax break. It's just bullshit is what it is. So call it out, guys. Anytime you see something like this, anytime you see something like an E. coli outbreak out there, it needs to be called out. It needs to be brought to public attention. Do not let them get away with it. Pay attention to the voting records, guys. Every single politician on this, I don't care if it's a congressperson, a senator, a governor, on a state, local, national level, their votes are recorded on how they vote with that. And you've got to be very aware with that, because guys, if we don't have our environment intact and healthy, it's the same with your physical health. If you don't have your physical health, you don't got nothing. I don't care how much money you have. If your health is crappy, you don't got nothing. And it's the same with our environment. We have got to have an environment that is in complete balance, that allows us to sustain ourselves and sustain future generations. And anytime that you put a glitch into the system, because it is a system, it's an entire ecosystem that starts at the very bottom of the food chain on the microscopic algae level and works us all the way up to the top of the food chain. Anytime there's a disruption in that cycle, it's not going away. And the problem that you have is we have a war on science in this country right now. And that war on science has been perpetuated, and it's being created by the people in positions of power that make money from those deregulatory efforts out there. And they're freaking dark, and they're scary about it. And the only way that it can be stopped, like I said, is through legislation. You can protest and you can do whatever you want to, but ultimately, guys, the only thing that affects change in this country is legislation. That's the only thing that makes any difference. So you have to pay attention, put people in positions of power that are critical thinkers, and they operate from a science and a scientific background and data, and they have awareness for the future generations of this planet. And they're not beholden to big corporations, and they're not beholden to, companies that pollute at will. It's got to stop it somewhere, guys, because like I said, it is unsustainable. And if you're one of the people out there that don't think this is a problem and don't think this is a big deal, and it's a bunch of alarmism and it's a bunch of fake news, you probably should re-educate yourself on the reality of the situation, because This is just a prime example of it right now with this whole E. coli outbreak. And that's just a microcosm of everything else going on out there. So anyway, guys, I got no patience for it, man. I don't care who the person is. I got no patience for somebody that pollutes this planet at will. I got no patience for them whatsoever. It's like, it's all started. Let me tell you where it started out, where my whole passion with this. There was a little creek at the bottom of my mom and dad's house when I was about 8 or 9, 10 years old. I would go down there every day after school. And this little creek is called Turkey Creek. And I waded it every day after school. I learned about nature there. I learned about fishing. I caught my first perch there. I caught bass there. I learned about wildlife there. I caught crawdads. I trapped minnows. It was, this was my creek. It's like I considered Turkey Creek my creek. So anyway, one day I was fishing underneath the bridge there where, the road came across the main part of the creek. And all of a sudden I look over and there's a 55, one of those big contractor trash bags, big giant contractor trash bags. Somebody threw one of those over the bridge as they were driving over the bridge, and it landed about 5 foot away from me and busted open in the creek, and it just spilled all this freaking trash all over the creek. So my pristine creek that I'm the caretaker of, this freaking asshole that I probably would have made disappear if I could have caught him being 10 years old. I'd have fed him to the crawdads if I'd have caught him. All this trash was just floating down Turkey Creek. I was horrified. I was disgusted. I was pissed. I was shocked. And that had such an impact on me as an 8 or 9 year old kid that I've been involved with this ever since. And like I said, it is a problem. Like I said, you can stick your head in the sand about it. You can deny the reality about it. Somebody can call you some tree-hugging libtard, whatever. It's the reality of the situation, guys. Human beings, I'll say this once again, are the most ignorant species on this planet for what we do and how we treat this planet. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think about it. We'll talk later.